Hello, welcome back. So let's take a look at the state of play on the game development front. Let's turn our attention to the packaging. It's such a nightmare, really difficult. So I started off with the plastic option, plastic wallet, and that kind of worked, but it was the wrong size and whatever, and they're difficult to source. Then I got some prototype ones like this, these boxes, and I started messing about with various printouts that were going to be attached to it somehow, maybe with sticky tape or adhesive. So I abandoned that. So I did a few of them. Anyway, so this is the current state of play. So this is it. This is the box. So this will be the first version of the game. It's very, it's a bit rough and ready, I've got to be honest. So what I'm trying to do is keep the costs down because, yeah, I want to sell it at a reasonable price point. It's not about cash. I just don't want to make a loss. So the idea is I'm using these flat packed cardboard boxes because you can buy them in bulk relatively cheaply. And I've got the printed labels. This is the disc label. And this is the box with the prints done on it. There's some printed spine elements. So let's take a closer look and see how we've constructed it. So let's take a closer look and see how I've constructed it. So let's deconstruct it and I'll show you. So these are from a large printed label. So I can print those in colour. That's not come out too badly. I'm fairly pleased with it. Obviously there's a border there, but you know, I'm trying to keep the costs down as much as possible. You still get the effect, even though it's not perfect, and you've got it printed on the spine. So inside there's the printed manual and the disc, and the next challenge is I've got to make a holder for it. So I've just folded some cardboard up here. It's all very rough, but the idea is that there'll be an insert into there to hold the game in place, hold the disc in place, and then the manual will go over the top of that. We'll go there. So this is printed on ordinary paper. I do actually have some nice paper, so the first few are probably going to have a nice cartridge paper as opposed to this ordinary paper. Although, to be fair, it's only a manual, doesn't really matter that much. One of the key things is when you do this up, obviously as you can see it's packaging stuff, really, is it's got to be able to stand up by itself. So I've actually interfered with this already, so this is all I've gone a little bit wonky. It did stand up, now it doesn't. There we go. So it does actually stand up, which is kind of important if you're putting it on a shelf. So the idea is that everything will line up, and with the Retro Ginger logo, as you hopefully create more games. So this is the Apple II version. This is obviously the final one. There's a few things I want to do. My initial thought was I was going to go for a printed label. So if you look at A4, you can do that whole bit and actually have it wrapped around inside here, so it will be invisible. When I did that, the problem is finding a label that's as big. This is the biggest I could find. There's basically 2 of those on an A4 sheet. If I went with a complete A4 one, then suddenly you're doubling the label cost. So but the thing is, you've got to bear in mind, it's not just about the cost of the labels. They're relatively small in the scheme of things. It's the amount of ink you use, and it just, you know, the costs start adding up. So I'm looking at I've got a figure in mind for how much this is. What you've got to bear in mind is you've got the cost of the box itself. You've got the cost of the labels. This will take 2 A4 labels. Obviously one of them will have these, so there'll be 2 of those per box, so that one sheet can do quite a few edges of the boxes, which is good. And then the cost of the booklet, which is, I mean, that's pennies, that's not a huge amount of money, but it still all adds up. The cost of the disc, and I've got to find some suitable stiff cardboard or something. Hopefully it's not corrugated, because I noticed that it buckles and you know, deforms and is not very nice. This is just a sample. That edge is actually not too bad, but this edge got really mangled. So I've got to try and find a decent way of doing that. And the cost of the disc. So these are, you know, you can find them, but they're not great, not easy to find. And any you do get, there's a penalty you pay because a certain number of them just won't work. Anyway, so that is the boxed version of Dungeon Raider on the Apple II. Yeah, so stay tuned. This is going into playtesting now, and hopefully in the next few weeks it will go on sale. Well, stay tuned. Cheers.